Well, week three. We're on week three. Yes,
We are.
week three. Um, Things seem to be just more positive. I know there's a few people who've had one of the comments. What are your two biggest wins from this week? Feeling better from the mutant cold.
Everyone has got that at the moment. I feel like, I think I know more people that are ill with a horrific cold at the moment than what I know that are well. Like, it's been so bad, hasn't it?
It's been around. I mean, me and Rosie have had it. I'm touch wood, touching everything that's wood. This week I felt human again. But
Mm,
it's been. I think I picked it up with hindsight. I think I got it just before Christmas. So
yeah,
6 weeks, taking 6 weeks, and that's kind of, and it comes and goes. You feel better, and you think, oh, I'm over
and
it,
then
and
it's
then
back.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we've had a couple of girls getting over the colds, which is great, and getting back into the gym. So tracking consistently for 4 days after the mutant cold. Uh, Carrie's been back in the gym. We've had improved sleep due to winding down in the evenings earlier. That is,
That's your win.
it is such a win. And I get it because I don't know about I feel I get me word teeth in. I get a bit of FOMO. Like when you feel like you're missing out in the evening by going, and you think, oh, what am I missing? What's on the telly? Oh, I wish I could just sit up for it. No, it's not
Yeah.
it.
For me, it's like tonight, I didn't get home till just before 7.
Yeah.
And you're probably the same, like those long days where you're like, oh, well, I've only just finished work, so I haven't had any time for me. And actually, well, what are you doing? Watching telly, doom scrolling, like nothing important. Like that sleep is more important to get you through the long days. Whereas I'm like, oh, well, haven't any me time. I've not chilled out for me. And
And I
actually, like, it doesn't matter.
and I get that. I do get,
Yeah.
having that me time. I mean, you do need some time to decompress, but do you know what? It's my evening. So I work till 6 today. I've had a Zoom call with my boys this evening as well, but finished at 6. I got my tea done at 8. I've just had a Zoom call with my eldest lad. And then we've got this. I'll upload this, and then while my dinner was cooking, I made sure everything was prepped and ready for tomorrow. So I've done my drinks, made sure all the stuff's ready, got my clothes ready. So once this is uploaded, I've got 30 minutes where we might stick something on the telly, but that's it. And at half
Yeah.
nine, you know, laptop will be off, phone will be off for 30 minutes, and then go and do the bedtime. And it's, I'm up at 5 again in the morning. So it's, for me, I I know tomorrow evening I've got a quiet evening. I know Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon. I would rather get stuff done and dusted, go to bed early and get the energy so you can get through the day
Yeah.
and then enjoy the weekend
Yeah,
and do stuff at the
definitely.
weekend. So it's a big win. That's a great one. Improved sleep gives you it just helps. High energy, better control of your hunger, better motivation. So brilliant one. Yeah, some really, really good, really, really good wins, actually. Let's go straight into the questions. Some really good questions here. So I think the first one I will leave to you. So, question one is granola fattening. What could I use instead? And then there was also some snack ideas because this is from Carrie. She's got over the illness and is feeling peckish, snackish. Um, so, granola, is it fattening? What should I use instead? Or do I need to swap? I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So I think as we said before, like no singular food is going to cause you to gain weight. Like nothing on its own would be fattening. The thing with granolas, I absolutely love granola. So I can probably understand this, but because it's quite calorie dense,
Mm.
you get a smaller portion. So I think it's very easy to overconsume, which is then where, granola itself, like I say, isn't fattening. But if you look at the portion size and you actually weigh that out, you're not getting as much as you would if you use like a different cereal, for example. So that's just one to be really careful of. Some of them can be quite a bit higher in sugars as well.
Yeah.
So if you are like what sort of watching that as an intake, just be quite mindful. But yeah, granola itself, you're fine. But if you want to get a little bit more to maybe help you feel a little bit fuller, but to save some of those calories, then that's where you can look at things like your porridge oats. Um, or anything that's like high fiber, like your bran flakes or anything like that. You could always mix them together. So to bulk it out, have a little bit of granola, then bulk it out with something else there as well.
Yeah.
Is a really good option. I mean, like even if you had it as a like what I will often do is have a sometimes in like a half portion and use my granola as more like a yogurt topping, like a sprinkling of it on top of like 100, 200 grams like Greek yogurt, loads of fruit in there, bulk that out, and then that helps me keep fuller through the day as well. So yeah, you don't necessarily have to swap it, but if you want to have more like volume and you do quite like having it as like a cereal, then maybe yeah, look at some like porridge, brown flakes, Weetabix, or sharing a bit of half and half with that as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
and like you said, you talked about maybe put berries in there and
yeah,
chop up some strawberries and have it mixed in with that. I do the same as you. I have it as so if I use granola, it's a big bowl of Greek yogurt, fruit in there, add some protein powder just to boost the protein, but you don't have to, and then I'll sprinkle
like a
and
little bit of
hopefully,
as a
yeah,
sprinkling. So you still get to enjoy it, but
yeah,
that's not the main bulk of the food, if that makes sense.
yeah.
So like, you know how we always talk about basing your food around your protein, rather than basing that meal around your granola, add that as your little extra. So base it around that protein, the rest of the fiber, anything else, and then add that as your
And I know
topping. And
I sorry, you go carry on.
I was just gonna say that then might help you keep slightly fuller, and then you might be less likely to feel like you need that snack as well. But yeah, what were you going to say? Sorry, before I go on.
No, I was just going to say the other thing with granola. I know you mentioned the sugar. Um, if it's a good quality granola, most of the sugar's coming from the honey. I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, the body doesn't sort of distinguish between sugars. It
Yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't matter whether it's table sugar or honey or what. It's all the same. The body just sees it as the same because chemically it is. So don't worry too much unless you are obviously watching your blood sugars and things like that.
yeah,
But if you partner it with yogurt and you partner it with berries, then the protein and the fiber slows down the emptying of your stomach.
yeah,
So it reduces that glucose spike. So if you are worried about that, that's not too much of an issue. If you pair it with the foods. The only other thing I was going to add is just watch out for these protein granolas. They charge you like 2 or 3 times the price, and
yeah.
the protein is
It's not worth it.
yeah, so they do reduce the sugar slightly with it sometimes, not massively,
No.
and they do add a little bit of protein, but you're talking like maybe 1 or 2 extra grams per 100 grams. Well, you don't eat 100 grams, so you're getting like an extra half gram.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, the number I think the one of the examples I had a client who said, yeah, really healthily went through it, and then when she weighed that's you mentioned weighing. I told her you
yeah,
need to weigh your breakfast. I'm not weighing breakfast and food. It's fine. It's fine. She weighed her granola. She was eating, so one portion was 250 grams, according to the box. She was eating the equivalent of 4 portions. So 1,000 calories of granola at breakfast. And then she's like, what do I do? Because this isn't enough. And I went, right, yogurt,
yeah,
fruit, even if you just chop a banana up, or the other thing I'll do is things like basic cornflakes or like you say brown flakes just to bulk it out. um, and lo and behold, when she weighed the granola out to the correct portion, all of a sudden the weight loss
but
occurred.
I do accept it is also very depressing looking at your
Yes.
mini bowl of granola. The other ones that are depressing is the Weetabix minis. I don't know if you've ever weighed a portion of them. You get like 6 bits.
Yeah, yeah, this
But
is why
yeah,
my breakfast is things like I've done baked oats
yeah,
this week, and I'm going to be really just as a this is kind of a bit of a plug, and I'm just going to share the screen so that if you are watching this back, you can see. Share the screen, share the screen, share the screen. Um, that one. So I
there you
have
go.
put together, and I'm doing this weekly. So anybody who's doing this program, I'm going to try and remember to upload and send this out. But I've put together like a high protein week of meals. Effectively, this is what I have eaten this week. So this is a chocolate and raspberry baked oats, PB and chocolate raspberry baked oats. That is 3 portions. And they're big portions, they're generous portions, 300 and something calories, 30 grams of protein. There's a berry cheesecake baked oats, chili loaded jacket potatoes or baked potatoes. All the calories you can see, all the calories and things are there. Ingredients, how to make it. That was lovely. We had that for 2 nights. That was banging. Little, these are winners.
And they
If
do look good.
they were brilliant. They're only little, so don't think they're like massive, but just as a little bite and with a little bit of light ambrosia custard.
Nice.
And then this is what I'm having as my dessert tonight, which is just yogurt, peanut butter, and chocolate protein powder with a melted chocolate on the top. Winner. But yeah, I'm going to put that out. Oh, on the bottom, shopping list.
Perfect.
So it's all there, and I'm trying to put these together one every week. So it's kind of a structure, and it's aimed at somewhere between 1,500. So if you have like this pot here, so this pot's about 200 calories, something like this one night pasta, there's 500, 700, nearly 600, 1,300 plus your breakfast. It's about 1,600 calories. You're looking at 130 to 160 grams of protein, a whole ton of fiber. So yeah, I'm putting those together so you can have a look at those just as a little bit of a plug. So if you want breakfast ideas as well. Right.
There you go.
Um,
Carry on.
next
So, the
question.
only thing we're going to say is obviously recovering from illness, your body is fighting illness. So, like I say, sometimes you may feel a little bit more hungry because your body just needs the extra energy to fight off whatever that is.
Yeah,
But again, if you're looking at, snacks, again, look at your protein, look at your fiber,
yeah.
Baby Bell Lights, yogurts, all really good ones. Think about your fruit as well. Really good options to have there. Protein shakes, boiled eggs, that kind of thing. Really
Rice
good
cakes and
option.
cottage cheese. I
Yeah,
swear by rice cakes and cottage cheese, or rice cakes with a little drizzle of honey over the top if you like it a bit sweet.
yeah,
The rice cake is about what, 25 calories,
yeah, it's not a
like
lot.
a teaspoon of honey, you're talking an extra 10, 15 calories on the top. It's, 40 calories, two of those, 80 calories. And it's something that will just fill you, give you a little bit of fiber. Yeah, there's lots of different options. But yeah, I will kind of put some snack options in those things as well. But I would tend to say with snacks, and this is something that I've kind of mentioned a few times to clients this week. Um, if the snacks that we go and buy like chocolate crisps, they are designed to be hyper palatable. If you've got snacks that you find irresistible and you're trying to lose weight, then it's probably not the best time to have them in the house. You're not saying you can't have them, but if you know that you're going to keep them around you, you're going to dive into them. Maybe not the best idea to if you absolutely need it, you can go to the shop and get them, but don't go and buy like a big family bag of crisps. You buy one, otherwise don't keep them in. I think that was the last thing I needed to say on that.
Yeah.
Cool. Next question. How do I safely increase weight without overdoing it? Um, this one's you could kind of talk about this a little bit with from a point of view of when you busted your ankle.
That wasn't doing weights, everyone. Avoid rock climbing if you get sweaty palms. Um,
So when
yeah,
when you bust your ankle and you were going back into the gym, what was the advice and guidance from the physio?
so it's all like very, and even now, like I'm back at physio again because it's playing up again, but it's all very much don't try and go 0 to 100 is always the advice. Like you cannot start from zero and then say, right, this week we're going to lift 10 kilos and then go next week and be like, we're going for 20. Like it's not realistic. You need to be building that up gradually. And that is always the advice, isn't it? Step it up in the small increments. But I
Yeah,
think as we've said before, like it also depends on the exercise. Because if you're thinking of, is it like your flies, like your shoulder, your,
yeah, your
reverse
lateral
flies,
raises and
the
anything shoulder wise.
yeah, your plates only go up and like your dumbbells in certain increments, and it will get to a point where you feel like one's too light, but actually the next one you can barely lift. Like, so it very much depends on the exercise and the weight that you're having, but genuinely, yeah, just take it really slow. Like with my running, I've literally had to take it back to zero. And as much as it can be really frustrating when you're like, oh, I just want to do more, I know that I can.
Yeah,
If you actually push it too quickly, you risk setting yourself back
yeah.
from injury, and I can promise you that's far more frustrating.
It is, and this is something I've said to a few. I train a guy who's just had both knees replaced, and he's
Mhm.
been cleared by the doctors and the physios for starting weight training. He's a typical bloke. He wants to go from 0 to 100 really quickly, and I'm putting on the single leg extensions. I'm sticking him on like 15, 20 kilos, and he's wanting to go up to like 40 or 50. And I'm like, no, let's just dial it back. Um, and it's the same when you're starting a new program. When you're starting a new program, and it might be a couple of different exercises that you haven't done before or you've not done in a while, you don't really know where the weights are. So the standard kind of instructions I would give you is start with a weight that is fairly light, that isn't going, you can go through 10, 12 reps without too much difficulty, but do them controlled, really work on. So if you're doing shoulder press, for example, just because I can demonstrate this, control on the way down, drive up, control on, and you'll do 10, 12 reps fairly easily, not a problem. If that's easy, then go up in weight. And you can do that the first week of any program. You can do 3 or 4 sets where you try and up the weight. If you find that on that top weight you can do 12 reps fairly easily, then the next week you will start on that top weight. And then you can increase again. And you can do that for each set. You could try and go up until you reach a set where you've got your prescribed, let's say you are doing 10 or 12 reps, and you do those 10 to 12 reps and the last two are slowing down, right? What we don't want you to do, particularly for exercises like a bench press or any really leg presses, bench presses, deadlifts, anything where you could be injured, you don't want to be going to the point of failure where you can't do another rep, right? There are some exercises you can do, like cable rows or bent over rows or lat pull downs. You can go to the point where you can't get another rep out. Absolutely fine. You want to go within sort of 2 reps. So you kind of getting to the point where you can go, right, I know I could get another one, but it would be a struggle. And then I might get one more if somebody had a gun to my head. That sort of level. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, the problem is people don't actually know when they get to that level, because they'll start to burn and they'll say, right, yeah, I've only got 1 or 2 more in. No. So what I would say is that, go to, if you do your 4 sets, Um, the first time you do it, increase your weight each time for your first 4 sets. If you manage maximum reps on that last set, the next time you do it, you start from that weight and you go up again. And you'll probably, within 1 or 2 sets, you'll get to a weight where it's like, actually, this is going to be a struggle. Okay. And that's fine. And that is your working weight. So every week you might do a warm-up set. I would always recommend doing a warm-up set on the first 2 or 3 exercises at least. Do your warm-up set at about 60, 70%, 3/4 weight. Do your working sets. And then what you might find is when you do your working sets, you do 12 reps, 12 reps, and then 10. That's fine. You do those again until you can do 3 sets of 12. Once you've done that, you can then up the weight. But as Alice says, there's some exercises like shoulder presses, like lateral raises, where the next weight up is big and it might be too much. In that case, you can increase your reps. So instead of going up to 12 reps, you might go up to 15. And then once you can do that, you can go up in weight and you might then drop down to say 6 to 8 reps, and that's fine. Okay. But that's how you do it. But the key thing here is always don't go to failure. Always leave 1 or 2 reps in reserve. You are going to get the same benefits of going to failure pretty much, but you'll get less of the risk. By going to failure, your risk of injury. If you go to within 1 or 2 reps of failure, you've got lower risk of injury, but you still get those benefits of growing the muscle. If you are increasing, increase by the smallest amount. Like
Yeah.
even, I'm deadlifting. So I did deadlifts a couple of days ago. I'm deadlifting 190 kilos, doing 4 sets of 4. I manage that. Next week, I will add the smallest weights, which are 1.25, and I will do 192.5. Like the difference between 190 and 192.5 is small, but you feel it. Yeah. If you've got 1 kilo increments, So you can go up, say, from 7 to 8, do that. So it's the smallest increase, and you keep going that way. At some point, you'll get to a point where it becomes really difficult. But up until that point, you kind of increase it slowly. It seems frustrating, but if you can add a kilogram to a lift, let's say you're doing leg presses, and you add in 1 kilo a week to your leg press for a year, that's 50 kilos,
Yeah.
which is massive. Yeah. Even if it's half a kilo, 25 kilos is massive. So go up in small things, small increments. Um, and yeah, focus on form, be safe. All right. But that's the kind of way. So just to summarize, if you start an exercise, you've never done it before, pick a weight, challenges, don't go too challenging, but pick a weight you think, yeah, I could do that. It might be a bit heavy, it might start to burn, but I can do it. If that's fine or it's too light, go up. If it's fine, stick with it. And then you stick with that weight until you can do the full reps for all the sets. And then you go up in the smallest increment. If that increment's too big, you increase the reps instead until you can do more reps across the sets. If it's still too big, then you can slow your tempo down, you can shorten rest times. There are things like that. So there's lots and lots of things that you can do to safely increase not just the weight, but the reps and what we call the volume of lifting, which is the important thing. It's lifting more volume over time. That's how you do it without overdoing and causing injury. I think that's everything on that one. All right. Increasing cardiovascular. How do you increase cardiovascular fitness without running? So this will be because of injury. So obviously there are certain situations. That guy, my client who's had his knees replaced, he's basically been told, don't run.
Yeah.
It's not like running on, and it's the reason being he's now got mechanical knees.
Love that.
So running is going to wear it down, and he's 50, and he's basically been told if he doesn't want to have a knee replacement having to be done within 15 years, don't run. So best way of increasing cardiovascular fitness, walking, brisk walking, really simple one. Cross trainers, rowing machines, swimming, cycling, the Stairmaster, dare I say it, if you
Ugh.
want to. It's hell. Yeah, it's anything like that. It's effectively your cardiovascular fitness. What you are doing is you're doing exercise that is going to cause your heart rate to increase. And but you don't necessarily want it to a point where you can't talk either. So I would always recommend to people try and get your heart rate up to say 110 to 130 beats per minute. That is a pace where you'll feel a little bit out of breath, but you can still carry a conversation. So something like a brisk walk, cycling, swimming, stuff like that. There's loads of things. If you don't want to do it for long periods of time, then you could do intervals. So you could do things like rowing intervals. So you could row hard for 30 seconds, easy for 30 seconds. The same on the cross trainer. You could go fast for 30 seconds, slow, and the bike and things like that. Swimming is just a good all round. And if you've got injuries, especially if it's things like lower back injuries and stuff like that, walking in the pool, actually just walking up and down the pool is a great bit of resistance training as well. So just doing stuff like that. The other thing I would say is do stuff you enjoy.
I was going to say, actually, just find something you love. Because even things like racket sports, badminton, tennis,
Mm.
squash, like they're still really good, like cardio
Yeah,
fitness as well. So if you enjoy things like that, ice skating, rollerblading, like they're
yeah,
all really good forms of cardio exercise as well. So yeah, I'd say the most important thing is find something you love because it's so much easier to
dancing.
stick to.
If you like dancing,
Yeah,
dance stuff like. So what you've got to think is that the cardio fitness, and this is one of my issues with things like circuit classes. Now I used to deliver circuit classes, and I've done them and enjoyed them in the past. The problem with circuit classes is they're trying to mix strength training and cardio together, and it doesn't really. And this is my issue with high rocks and a little bit with CrossFit. If you're trying to do strength training, which is all about form, control, doing it safely, and then trying to build in cardio where you're doing high intensity stuff
yeah.
fast, getting your heart rate up, these two things don't really go that well together. You know, you do it with your circuit classes, people go too heavy, get injured. So your best bet is you either do it lightweight fast or you just focus on doing the strength training. And personally, I would kind of avoid those sorts of things unless you're really good, you're competent with the weightlifting, and you enjoy it. And if you do enjoy it, maybe go a little bit lighter rather than the heavy weights. But yeah, do stuff you enjoy. We've got paddle opened in
Yeah,
Utah recently. That's dead popular, really good. And you've got to think that for the cardio there, it's increasing your aerobic fitness, it's increasing your cardiovascular fitness, which does have benefits to strength training. It improves your recovery time between, improves your stamina and endurance. So, you actually, one of the things with weight training, when we feel the burn in muscles, we're not sure whether it's kind of fatigue or mechanical failure. And it's mechanical failure we want to build muscle, but you're not quite sure that, oh, is my muscle just failing because it's failing, or is it because I'm knackered and it's just running out of energy? So, yeah, if you can improve your cardio fitness, it actually carries over to strength as well. But yeah, to answer your question, anything you enjoy, um, but things like I say, swimming, rowing machine, cycling, um, and also whatever your body can handle. Because if you're injured, you've kind of got to take that into account as well.
yeah.
So yeah. Um, Last question. Oh, I'm just on that one. I would with the intervals. So it is it's actually one of the best ways for uh, perimenopausal women as well to increase cardiovascular hip fitness. It seems to have less of an impact than trying to do like hours and hours of running and things, and you can squeeze it in. So it's shorter. It's if you're doing things like sort of 10-15 minutes of hit training instead of trying to do a 30-40 minute run, it's easier to fit in.
Yeah,
So I'd also think about time constraints as well.
yeah.
Right, last one. Why weight increases when so one of the girls has actually got to a point where she's happy with her weight and we're now increasing calories back up to maintenance. Now, this is one of those bits where people really start panicking.
It's a really difficult part, isn't it, of the journey is finding your maintenance
Yeah.
and learning how the body reacts to that. Yeah.
And it's something that's quite often on a lot of coaching programs where they do like oh right, we do your 12-week shred, but then they don't actually coach you what to do afterwards, which
Yeah.
from a business model point of view, you can understand because they don't want you to succeed. They want you to want to come back. And what you want to do is be able to, they call it reverse dieting, which is a bit of a myth, but we want you to come out of that deficit because you can't be in a deficit forever. And we
No,
want to come up to a maintenance phase where you're more comfortable. But your weight will go up.
it will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it will just happen.
Yeah.
But like I say, it's don't panic.
Yeah. Because one thing with when you increase your calories up to maintenance, and this is the key word here, what does maintenance mean? It means you are maintaining your levels of body fat. So if that weight increase at maintenance, it's not body fat. And you've got to think, well, what is it? Well, you're eating more food. So you are going to weigh more. You're going to have, potentially a kilo of more food in your gut. Um, if you're in a deficit, you run down your glycogen, your carbohydrate stores. And if you eat at maintenance, you're going to keep those a bit more topped up. For every gram of carbohydrate you store, we store 3 grams of water. And potentially you could gain 100 or 200 grams more of carbohydrates within your muscles, which is what we want because it means you're more active, it gives you more energy, actually makes your muscles look fuller. You're also going to hold on to 3 times more water. So if you hold on to 200 grams of carbs, that's at least 600 grams of water. There's another 2 pounds. So you got 2 pounds of food in your gut, 2 pounds of carbs and water in your muscles. And yeah, you could gain 4 or 5 pounds within a couple of days. And that's perfectly normal. Then your weight should stabilize. And
Yeah.
and that's what maintenance is. That's fine. So if you do start eating more and your weight goes up, don't panic.
Yeah.
It's just that's what's supposed to happen. If it continues to go up, then yeah, you're probably not at maintenance. We need to bring the calories down a touch. But this is why, it's not just a simple case of, right, I've hit my goal weight, let's stop the diet. This is where you still need to track and you need to learn about what maintenance looks like, because you can learn what a deficit looks like. You now need to learn what maintenance looks like. And that's the bit that most people miss. So when they've lost the weight, they don't learn how to eat to maintain that weight loss, and then they put it back on again.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, weight gain is perfectly normal. So carbs, extra food, more food in the gut. You've got hormone normalization. And
Yeah.
actually, sometimes when you eat more, your weight can drop initially and then come up, which is what mine has done this week. After an aggressive deficit, I've increased my calories. It's actually dropped by 3 pounds in 3 days, even though I'm eating more food. And that's just because my body's relaxing. It was holding on to water because it was in a stress state. So yeah, there are all sorts of things. The key thing is don't panic. Do not
Yeah. We're
panic.
here. Don't worry. It's all going
Yeah,
to be okay.
it's and if you do have any questions about that, just give us a shout and we can answer them. Brill. Yeah, so that's week 3. Week 4 coming up. I am going to put that meal plan for a week into the group tomorrow. I'll try and remember to do it tomorrow. If I don't, please nag me. But yeah, I think the key thing is planning, getting the system in place. And this is something I've said quite a lot this week to a lot of clients who've had a bit of a wobble at the start of February, because January's over, the weather's still crap, and a bit of a wobble. And it's like, right, the systems have fallen apart. Well, not fallen apart, they've just forgotten to do them. And it's the real basics. Think about what you are doing in the coming week. Where you're busy, where have you got your quiet times? Where can you cook? Where have you got the time to cook? Do you need
Yeah.
to prep food? Do you need to batch cook it? Do you need to go and get some healthy ready meals in? Just spend 20, 30 minutes over this weekend thinking about the week ahead. And I put that meal stuff in there so you've got a few ideas for things in there. And yeah, if you need any more help, reach out and give us a shout, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Fab, I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Bill. All right then, guys, we will speak to you next week. But until then, it's bye from us.
Bye.